ARIPO stands for the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization.
This organization was created in order to pull together resources of the member states to assist in harmonizing procedures, strategies, policies, laws related to intellectual property.
We register intellectual property titles, particularly patents, utility models, industrial designs, trademarks, traditional knowledge, expressions of folklore, and protection of new varieties of plants.
As it is today, ARIPO has 19 member states, which are spread throughout the continent. The countries that are interested in joining the organization express their willingness to join the organization, and through formal processes, through the governments, they deposit their instruments of accession.
The country can also join any one of the protocols that we administer at ARIPO. That is the Harare Protocol, the Banjul Protocol, and the Swakopmund Protocol. What it means is that if you join any of these protocols, by default, you also become a member of the organization.
The ARIPO system is beneficial, mainly is a one-point core in that the member states give us the right to manage IP rights on their behalf, and therefore it allows applicants to file one application and get protection in all the member states.
ARIPO has time and again created awareness in Africa on intellectual property, and we do this through seminars, workshops, training, and also exhibitions. Intellectual property relates to the creations of the mind. If you look at the history of mankind, man has always endeavored to solve problems that man has faced over the years, and this has been done by virtue of the use of the mind.
What is intended by the intellectual property system is to create incentives to those people who come out with innovative ideas, with brilliant ideas, in order to solve the problems that the society is facing.
We need to create new ideas, and these ideas come from different areas. Either you create ideas as a result of research and development, or sometimes people tell us that ideas are created as a result of intuition. And this whole pool of ideas is what we call intellectual property.
The different intellectual property rights that were created in order to cover the different kind of works and solutions.
There are two components of intellectual property. There is copyright and related rights.
To protect the works of artists, musicians, sculptors, we have the copyright.
And then there is industrial property, which includes patents, industrial designs, trade secrets, and utility models.
Today, we see intellectual property as playing a central role in driving economies of nations.
In Africa, we are endowed with the land, which is physical, minerals, which is physical, and yet remain undeveloped. And in Asia and Europe, they don't have minerals, they don't have land, and they're only developed through the use of intellectual property. So exploitation of IP rights is crucial for the benefit of and development of mankind.
In 2014, we launched a flagship called ARIPO National Roving Seminars.
We organize these seminars during 1 week. We cover the different intellectual property rights, the different branches of intellectual property, and we put together stakeholders, those who are involved in those areas in those different countries. We discuss about the concepts of intellectual property and how it can be used in the areas of interest.
For a long time, we took for granted that even in the member states, people knew that ARIPO existed.
since we have started this program, we have covered already 11 countries. Directly, we had something like 1,500 beneficiaries of the system of these roving seminars. We also, when we visit those countries, we meet the ministers who are responsible for intellectual property. We meet the parliamentarians, specifically the portfolios, the committees that deals with the intellectual property, science and technology, innovation, and we discuss with them.
We felt that our policy makers are not familiar with intellectual property, so they are not able to derive appropriate policies and come up with legislative instruments appropriate to the needs of Africa.
They were also like, we don't know what to do in terms of, how do we deal with intellectual property rights, especially when they are violated. They just don't know how to go about it.
So one important objective of the roving seminars is to go out to the member states and create awareness among policymakers, legislators, parliamentarians.
Roving seminars is an initiative that will help ARIPO to build close relations between ARIPO and its member states and also the public.
The other reason for the roving seminars is to ensure that those who generate intellectual property are very much aware of intellectual property tools.
We want to demystify intellectual property and explain to them the ARIPO rules so that they begin using this ARIPO system for their own benefit.
People are rich in terms of creativity, but they just don't know.
If you are a generator of intellectual property and you are not very much aware of intellectual property tools, what it means is that you generate this intellectual property ideas, inventions, innovations, and others take this knowledge and then they benefit from it. So what we are doing is to create this awareness among IP generators, innovators, entrepreneurs, and what have you.
We also engage the media. So a lot also has been, a lot of information was provided through the coverage that the media has been done. So more people heard more about the intellectual property system, heard more about ARIPO and how they can benefit from that. So we also had a number of interviews, talk shows, where we explain more about the intellectual property system.
The roving seminars gave us the chance to do a hands-on exercises with the users.
I realized that people really are hungry to learn and understand what we are doing here at ARIPO.
We are also encouraging the African countries to take intellectual property seriously and use it as a pivot for driving our national economies.
ARIPO is for Africans, so let's go out there and help Africans. Let's not just sit here. We have to go out there and touch the people's lives so that our footprint in Africa can be felt.
think I've learned a lot from this workshop.
I must say that I found the sessions very, very useful and informative.
So it's a very important tool, and we want to encourage the national roving seminars.
It would be very helpful if you get ARIPO to do more in the area of awareness.
I'd like to thank ARIPO and National